Alright, so for the last like 2 or so years, Elden Ring has been my favorite game of all time. It was my first ever Souls game, and I've beaten it like easily over a dozen times. But a couple months ago, I beat Dark Souls 3 for the first time ever in like a completely blind playthrough. I didn't farm, use any guides, or like look up a tutorial on how to get through anywhere. And I really fucking liked it, so I thought it would be a fun video to just go over both Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3, compare them like to one another, and see which one I actually think is the better game. We will also only be comparing the base game for Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring. If you guys want a separate video comparing the DLCs, let me know. Keep in mind this entire video is just going to be my opinion. I'm not actually going to like analyze anything really. So if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. But yeah, let's just get into it. Alright, so we're going to start off with debatably the most important part of the Souls games, which is the bosses. Now, I don't know if this is like a hot take, but I feel like the Dark Souls 3 bosses, especially coming from Elden Ring and then playing Dark Souls 3, the Dark Souls 3 bosses are so much easier. I went in completely blind, I didn't farm at all, and I still managed to beat the game, and I don't think a single boss took me more than 5 attempts in my entire playthrough. Now, I don't think that just because a boss is harder or easier, or a game is harder or easier, that makes it better or worse. It's just something to like be aware of. Elden Ring is definitely a harder game with harder bosses. In terms of boss design, I'm not even gonna lie, I think I have to go with Dark Souls 3. Pontiff, Nameless King, and Dancer are like three of my favorite boss designs of all time, and I would put these against anything in Elden Ring. Elden Ring still has peak boss design, don't get me wrong, like Malekith, Radagon, Radon, these are like amazing looking bosses, but I just feel like Dark Souls 3 beats them by a little bit. Now, in terms of movesets, I would actually give it to Elden Ring. I think that besides maybe Nameless King and Pontiff, a lot of the bosses in Dark Souls 3 have kind of clunky and uninteresting movesets. I feel like they're kind of easy to predict and stuff. In terms of which game overall has better bosses, Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3, I think I have to give it to Dark Souls 3. Elden Ring has some super high highs, but some extremely low lows. Fire Giant and Godskin Duo are fucking horrendous. Dark Souls 3 does have some mediocre or subpar bosses. I've never found myself like actually hating a boss. While in Elden Ring, I've definitely hated a couple of the bosses that they force you to fight. So round one is going to go to Dark Souls 3. Next up, I want to look at the areas a little bit. Now, I'm just going to be completely honest. A lot of the areas before Irithyll suck ass. Elden Ring has some shitty areas too, don't get me wrong. The fucking, what is it? The mountaintops of the giants, dog shit. The fucking Lake of Rot, dog shit. But Dark Souls 3, the first fucking quarter of the game is kind of buns, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't help that the bosses in Dark Souls 3 up to Irithyll aren't that fucking impressive either. Besides, I think Abyss Watchers. Besides that, it's such a shame because I remember dropping Dark Souls 3 after like 10 hours of playing because I just thought the game sucked ass. Then I got to Irithyll and I just enjoyed myself for like the next 3 hours. Those first 10 hours were actually not even playing Dark Souls 3. One thing I do appreciate about Dark Souls 3 though is it gets better and better as the game goes on. While I feel like in Elden Ring, the areas just get worse and worse. Like after Lindell, the game just takes a nosedive. Honestly, if the first like 25% of Dark Souls 3 was a little bit better, I wouldn't even consider this a competition, and I would just give it to Dark Souls 3 because I think like Irithyll and Onward is better than like anything in Elden Ring. But I have a hard time giving Dark Souls 3 the win when I deadass dropped the game because the areas were so bad. So I think I'm just gonna call it a tie, considering that Elden Ring also has some shitty areas, but it's towards the end, so I didn't like drop the game. Next, I think I'm going to talk about something that I just think Elden Ring does better than Dark Souls 3, which is exploration, obviously, build variety, and weapons. I think the weapons in Elden Ring are clearly better. Obviously, Elden Ring can open worlds, you can explore a lot more, and you can do a lot of different builds because there are so many weapons. There's like over 40 weapons into Elden Ring, which is absolutely fucking amazing. So overall, what do I think is the better game? In my opinion, I think Elden Ring is a better game, but I enjoyed Dark Souls 3. And I think that was partly because of how I played I played Elden Ring, I just like looked up a bunch of guides. Almost like speed ran the game my first playthrough. It only took me like 30 hours because I just kept looking up like how to get through areas. I wasn't really trying to look around because I didn't understand what the point of the Souls games was. For Dark Souls 3, I purposely like didn't look up how to get through anything. I didn't look up what the best weapons were. I didn't look up anything about the bosses. I had no clue what to expect, and I think that really like elevated